made a list of players I expect to put in a full grind at the WSOP and make some headlines along the way. But first up, here are some honorable mentions for players who have crushed in former WSOPs, but are rumored to barely play any events this summer. Just them being at the WSOP would be newsworthy. So, top 2 honorable mentions are, of course, Phil Ivey and Tom Dwan. Now let's get to our list of 8 because, of course, this year, like many, we are sponsored by 888 Poker. Coming in at number 8 is James Obst. Less than a year ago, James announced he was going to quit poker and focus on playing tennis professionally and competing in Wimbledon. However, as you'll see from some other people on this list, poker can sometimes be too hard to quit. Obst has been documenting all of his ups and downs in both tennis and poker on his blog, The Wimbledon Gambit. Obst looks to make a return to this year's WSOP and play a full schedule. After coming in 46th last year in the main event, he may have that extra chip on his shoulder and motivation to take home another bracelet. He won his first bracelet back in 2017 in the 10K Raz Championship event, and let's see if he'll take home another one this year. Number 7 on the list is Paul Volpe. Volpe is the all-time fantasy points leader in the 25K fantasy draft that Daniel Negreanu does each year. What does that mean? Well, it means Volpe is a crusher in all sorts of poker variants. He's won 3 WSOP bracelets. The first came in 2014 in the 10K No Limit Deuce to 7 Draw Low Ball event. Second bracelet came in 2016 in the 1500 8-game mix event. And the third one came just last year when he took down the 10K Omaha High Low 8 or better event. Now, Volpe's also finished 6th and 11th in the 50K Poker Players Championship, which is arguably the most prestigious WSOP event outside of the main event. Volpe has over $8 million in live tournament earnings, and I imagine that number will increase significantly this summer. Coming in at number 6, Benny Glaser. This Brit has 3 WSOP bracelets. He won the first in 2015 in the 1500 Deuce to 7 Triple Draw Low Ball event. He actually recently told me this is his favorite poker variation when I interviewed him at EPT Monte Carlo. You can check out that video, of course, at PokerNews.com. Now, Benny won his next 2 bracelets in the span of 3 days at the 2016 WSOP. He won the 1500 Omaha High-Low Split 8 or better, and then won the 10K Omaha High-Low Split 8 or better 3 days later. So, needless to say, Benny Glaser's pretty good at Omaha High-Low Split 8 or better. In last year's WSOP, Benny took 5th in the 50K Poker Players Championship event, which I told you is very difficult and prestigious. So, we'll see if Benny can nab his 4th bracelet this year. Now, my 5th pick is going to cause some controversy, but this isn't a popularity contest, so I had to put Chris Jesus Ferguson at number 5. Ferguson took an almost 5-year absence from the World Series of Poker after the controversial fall of Full Tilt Poker. However, his poker skills did not deteriorate over that time. He returned to the WSOP in 2016 and won WSOP Player of the Year just the next year in 2017. 2017 was also the year that Ferguson won his 6th bracelet at the WSOP Europe. We'll see if Ferguson continues to grind out a full WSOP schedule this summer and add to his over $9.2 million in live cashes. Coming in at number 4 is Brian Hastings. Brian Hastings, much like James Obst, announced his retirement from poker, but he announced that back in 2016, but it was not very long-lived. Last year, we saw Hastings win his 4th WSOP bracelet in the 3K Horse event. He announced on Twitter that he's planning on playing up to 38 events this year, so we'll see what kind of mark Hastings will make on this year's WSOP. Coming in at number 3 is Ben Yu. Yu took home his 3rd bracelet during last year's WSOP and an impressive $1.65 million after winning the 50K No Limit Hold'em High Roller. Ben Yu cashed for just under $2.8 million just at last year's WSOP. Dang. Yu always seems to be at the top of the POI leaderboard for the WSOP, and this year should be no exception. Yu is that rare player who can win in the highest stakes of No Limit Poker and the mixed game events. In fact, Yu's first 2 bracelets came from winning the 2015 10K Limit Hold'em Championship and the 2017 10K Limit Deuce to 7 Low Ball Triple Draw event. Number 2, Daniel Negreanu. He publicly announced he's chasing POY points, and the best way to do that is to hop in the smaller buy-in, bigger field events. He's going to do just that. Negreanu announced he'll be actually considering doing something I've never done before at the World Series, and that is to give these gimmicky small events a try. Negreanu, who has $39.83 million in live event tournament cashes, wants to make a run for POY. We interviewed him when he made the final table of the 10K No Limit Hold'em Super Turbo event, and he told me just that. He wants POY over bracelets and money. No, Daniel hasn't won a bracelet here in Vegas since 2008, so is the 6-time bracelet winner due for his 7th? He came so close just 2 days ago, but we'll see if he can do it. He has the whole rest of the summer to accomplish that. So for number 1, I was a little torn as to who to put first and second, but ultimately I had to put the reigning WSOP POY champion first, Shaun Deeb at number 1. Last year, Deeb proved himself to be the ultimate grinder, taking home 2 bracelets last summer, one in the 25K PLO High Roller event, and then the 10K No Limit Hold'em 6-handed event. Oh, and last year, Deeb was multi-tabling final tables. That's right. Sarah Herring did an amazing video where she followed Shaun Deeb, who would literally run from one table to the other at the Rio. So he's got the hustle. He wants to go back-to-back POYs. Deeb's won 4 bracelets to date. His first gold bracelet came in 2015 when he won the 10K PLO Championship. His second bracelet came from winning the 2016 1500 7-card stud. And oh yeah, Deeb has over 6.1 million in live cashes, and don't forget that Deeb came up in the online poker world. Deeb seems like an obvious favorite to make a deep run for POY again, if not win back-to-back years. Now, I'm coming at you tomorrow. I went to the Twitterverse. I tried to crowdsource some players that you may or may not have heard of, some more under-the-radar players. So I'm coming at you with my top 8 players to watch that you may not have heard of. So let me know what you think in the comments below, if you agree with my list, who you think may be doing a deep run in poker, and of course, stay tuned to PokerNews.com where we'll have those actual results for you all summer long.